Hey everybody, hello. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Friday. It's time for another Friday live draw with me and you. And we're both here. And that's pretty cool, I think. I've decided to not worry about the copyright infringement issues that YouTube has tonight, because I'm listening to an album. I listen to this album fairly regularly, but I'm listening to it a little more recently, and I just want to play it. Okay, I don't care if they don't like that I'm playing it, and I get, a slap on the wrist for this video. Oh well, I just want to listen to the music that makes me feel creative and want to draw. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm being a rebel. All right, Soundboard 67 says hi. Well, hello, Soundboard 67. It's nice to have you here. Appreciate you being here. Oh, guys, it has been a interesting couple of weeks. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The holidays are kind of rough a little bit. There's just like more to do, and a lot of things are grabbing at my attention. I'm sure this is the same thing for you. And so it makes it hard for me to focus, and hard to focus on drawing for me specifically, just because I have a lot of other things that just require my attention. And let me lower that a little bit. There we go. So have I been working on scene 55? Yes, I'm still working on scene 55. I had thought I would have been farther into it. Now, I'm not not far into it necessarily. It's just, it's been giving me a lot of trouble. It's been a very challenging scene. It's a 7-second scene. And now, to be fair, and I've had to remind myself of these things regularly recently, whether it's to myself or if I'm talking with a friend and I'm like, hey, I need to vent for just a second. I already know why things are difficult the way they are, but when you get in your head as an artist, and I don't know if you guys are watching this and you can relate to what I'm talking about, I would love for you to share your thoughts in the comments. Of course, if you're here during the actual live stream, you can go ahead and put your comments, and I will interact with you guys as it's happening. Oh, Tiffany says hi. Hello, Tiffany, on YouTube. Hello. So basically, you can know something and not know something. And what I mean by that is I logically understand why I'm having a difficult time right now. I understand it. But because it doesn't feel good, understanding it doesn't necessarily make it go away. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And you know me, guys. I definitely am not shy about talking about the emotional and mental process that goes along with being a creative person. I sometimes worry that you guys don't want to hear that stuff. I sort of feel like the world doesn't really care. Whenever I look around on social media, I'm just like, people just want to see final results. They don't care about process. They don't want to hear about how the sausage is made. They just want to see something that's presented to them so they can feast their eyes. But I have to be true to myself, and I have to be honest. And so the reality is I'm going to talk about that stuff on here sometimes. It's just what's going to happen. It's just how I work. I'm very self-reflective about process. And it's really funny that I am that way now, because in college, I had professors that were very much about the artistic process, and I didn't want to hear it. I was I was bored by that in college. So I imagine if you're a younger person listening to me talk about process, you're probably bored as well. Um, but in college, I was just like, I just want to make cool stuff, and I just want to talk about the results, and I don't want to talk about all this other stuff. Why are you talking to me about process? Why are you being so microscopic about how something is made? Well, now I kind of really get it, and I get it more than I ever have, and so that's sort of why I talk about it with you guys. So scene 55, which is the scene I'm on right now, I started it maybe 2 weeks ago. It is not exactly as it presented itself in my storyboards. In my storyboards, there's two different panels, and I decided to, like, they represent two different scenes. I decided to merge both of those scenes on my storyboards into one scene. That is scene 55. So that took what would have been maybe a 3.5 second scene and another 3.5 second scene, and it made it into a 7 second scene. I'm rounding the numbers here. So it's a bigger scene, but I decided to make it more complicated because I'm making the thing that you will hopefully, if you guys still stick around to watch it, I'm making the thing that you will eventually watch. But I'm also an audience. I'm an audience. I mean, when it's done, I will obviously be watching my own work, but I'm an audience now as it's happening, as I'm building it. I'm an audience. I'm editing and making the thing, and I'm constantly looking at it and deciding how I feel about it. So what does that do? Well, for me, it makes me want to constantly entertain myself, and that's hard to do if you do things that are very simplistic all the time, because then you can get bored and you're like, what am I looking at here? What does it matter? Why do I want to look at this? So all of that to say to you, I was looking at the two scenes in my board, and I was like, I don't really think that's going to be that interesting for me. I mean, for the audience, I guess, as well. But for me, I was like, I don't really care. So I was like, well, how can I do this? How can I make this better? This is a big crescendo moment in the cartoon. This is a moment when the customer, who is, we get the opinion, the feeling from him that he's a little bit unhinged. Okay, this is the moment when he starts to really show some aggression. He doesn't get physical necessarily, but he does march toward our hero and get in his face, like pointing in his face with his fingers. So I call that pretty aggressive. And I didn't really have it. I didn't really have a lot of build up visually for that in my boards. So that's why scene 55 is tripping me up a bit, is because I have two characters on screen, and they are both walking. One is marching forward, and one is walking backwards out of being nervous. And then one of them, the customer, has dialogue the whole time, and he's speaking out the lines. And then at the very end, new guy has a couple of lines, or not a couple of lines, but he has one line. He's not moving while he says that one line, so that's going to be pretty easy. Excuse me. Anyway, so how did I break this down? This was kind of a tricky thing, and I'm still dealing with it now, but I feel like I've got enough of it. I have enough of it done now that I'm no longer like, how am I going to do this? I started out drawing the customer. I think I started that on a Friday night, like with you guys, like 2 weeks ago. I started out blocking out his stuff, and then I realized, oh, I'm gonna do some of the stuff for new guy. I'm gonna draw him a little bit. But then I realized he's reacting. All of his motions are reacting to what the customer is, or to what customer is doing. So then I was getting kind of stuck on what I was drawing for new guy, and I'm like, Why am I stuck? I'm stuck because I don't really know what the timing is. I don't know what the timing is because the customer is the one who's setting the timing by saying his dialogue. He has to match the dialogue because we can see his mouth moving. So the customer has to be spot on. Whatever new guy does in reaction to that doesn't have to be timed specifically. It just has to happen in reaction. So then I was like, oh, right. Let me go back to working on the customer so I can really nail his actions because that's the only one that's synced up to audio. Anyway, the point is, I don't do a lot of scenes where I have two characters moving together at the same time. I don't have a lot of experience doing that, like at all in general in life. Most of the animation I've done has been with like an isolated thing or two things that are unrelated on opposite sides of the screen, but not really this sort of almost like a dance happening where the two characters are overlapping, and where one's actions is influencing the actions of the other one. I don't have a lot of experience doing that. So I'm explaining this to you to say this is kind of new for me, and that's why it's tripping me up. Now I'm far enough into it that I feel more confident now. But man, these last 2 weeks have been they've been really, really brutal. And when I get stressed out about something like this, and I've been really, really tired from work and everything, but like I start to procrastinate. And I read something recently that said procrastination is like, what is it? The manifestation of depression. And I'm like, maybe. Does this stuff put me in a bit of depression? A little bit, if I'm being honest, because this is like my passion. So if I don't know what I'm doing with this, it really shakes me up. So it's been a lot of mental stuff these last 2 weeks. I'm pulling out of it now. I'm a lot better now. I'm not like, this is not a cry for help. I'm just telling you like what I've been going through for the last couple weeks. So hey, Banana Man says hi on YouTube. Marks109 says hi. Sam OK says happy live draw. Hello, Sam OK. Nice to have you guys here. So I know I'm like going off on a big old tangent, but I just kind of wanted to start tonight by explaining like there's a lot of hurdles to overcome, and sometimes they are up here. A lot of times they're up here. And I can't speak for all of you, but I imagine other creative people probably deal with similar types of things. Anyway, I do want to point out that now is a really great time for independent animation. I've been seeing posts from independent animators on Facebook. I know there are guys who used to work at Disney who are now putting out gorgeous pieces of animation. Just amazing stuff. We've got one in 10 days. We've got one coming from Andreas. I don't know how you say his last name. I think it's Deja. But he's a amazing Disney animator. He's got a piece coming out on the 15th, and I don't know where it's going to be broadcast. Probably, hopefully online. But now it's just a really great time for independent animation. And it makes me very excited to bring my cartoon out into the world at a time when we've got these amazing voices of independent animation rising up saying, look what can be done, without the use of AI. And they are deliberately, telling people in their advertising and everything, this was made by human beings. Like, they're saying it so that you're not missing out on the fact that they're not using anything like AI. I will do the same thing when I release New Ad Day. It's going to be the same thing. I'm excited to be a part of this kind of recent push for indie animation. I don't know how far I am from finishing mine, and I kind of wish I was ready to release it right now. I'd be all, the more excited because I've got all these other great people putting out projects right now. It's probably a good thing that I don't bring out mine at the same time as these independent Disney guys, because I don't want mine to get completely ignored or anything like that. But regardless, I'm really happy that all this cool stuff is coming out. And if you haven't seen it, there's another indie cartoon that came out earlier this year called Bullet Time. Very crazy, manic stuff. There's just a lot of really cool stuff happening. And if you'd like to know about independent animation and you like to kind of be on the inside scoop on that stuff, if you are part of Facebook, I run a community news page for just animation news. Just search for Stay Tuned community page, and tuned is spelled TOONED. I would love to have you guys there. It is quickly growing. We just hit 900 members not that long ago, and it would be great to reach 1,000 sooner rather than later. I would love to have that happen. So yeah, head on over to Facebook and join the Stay Tuned community page. Where today the big news, I announced it this morning. Warner Brothers Discovery, the Discovery part of Warner Brothers, I believe, is going to be separating out from Warner Brothers before this next merger happens. But Warner Brothers has just been purchased for like $84 billion. Warner Brothers was purchased by Netflix, if you can believe that, which to me raises an eyebrow and a whole bunch of questions regarding like antitrust laws, monopoly stuff. Not that anybody's enforcing that stuff, but it is a bit sketch, I think, personally, a little bit, having that much media conglomerate under one roof. They claim, by they I mean Netflix, claims they're going to let Warner Brothers sort of operate as they usually do. It's just going to be basically that there's a new parent company. And then I guess the Discovery part of Warner Brothers Discovery is supposed to kind of separate out and go somewhere else. I don't remember where they're going. But man, this is monumental. The purchase of Warner Brothers, like, think about the Looney Tunes, about Harry Potter, all the properties, all the DC Comics stuff, all of that stuff that's underneath the Warner Brothers label is now owned by Netflix. I mean, we're talking like Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all of the amazing cartoons that I grew up with. So it's just really, really weird. It's a weird thing that happened today, but we'd love to have you come and discuss all of that with us in the Stay Tuned community page. Bayou Bomber is here. He says, "Hey Phil, I get the challenge of getting the timing right when coordinating more than one character in the same scene. Have you tried using X sheets to plan the timing out?" I haven't, and I have to reveal my embarrassment and my shame that I have not been using timing sheets. And yeah, that's probably part of the problem. But I never learned on timing sheets. And so I didn't teach myself timing sheets before starting this project. And I'm towards the end of the project, so I'm not going to be learning timing sheets right now. I have considered that once this project is done, I have considered finally going and looking up timing sheets and or X sheets and to actually teach myself that stuff. But I have not done that. And I will tell you, even though I haven't done that, I've gotten pretty good at looking at a scene or looking at it in my head and looking at it in the boards and having a pretty good idea of how to work it out. So it's not like I can't figure it out. It's just, it's harder for me because I haven't done a lot of it. And even though I did go to school for animation, I feel like this project, I've been teaching myself just a lot of stuff that animation school I never really had a chance to learn. We didn't have that great of a animation program, to be honest, where I went to school. And there really wasn't a traditional animation part of the school. So the only time I did traditional animation in college was as like a special projects group that I got moved into because there were three of us, I think 3 or 4 of us, and we were telling our professors we really don't want to do any more CG animation. We really want to do traditional, and so we did, but there was no actual like curriculum. It was we were like running our own projects for the semester, and then as long as every week we came in and were able to show progress, and as long as we were able to end the semester with a finished cartoon, then we passed or whatever it was. So it was great, and I felt like it was cool to be able to do that. But looking back on it, I'm like, man, it would have been really nice to learn some of these techniques. What are you going to do? Nicole Bell on Facebook says, it's definitely weird, but kind of cool if new generations get to see great animation. Yeah. Wait, what's definitely weird? You mean the purchase of Warner Brothers? What's tell me what's weird. Bayou Bomber says, X sheets are intimidating at first glance, but it's not that difficult to learn how to use them. Yes, I agree that they are intimidating, and I think that is part of the problem. Is I looked at them at one point and I was like, no thanks. I think I did do that, and I think I did that because I had just finished a short commercial that I animated, and I was like, nah, I know what I'm doing. Look, I do know what I'm doing, but this project, New Ad Day, I have continually looked at my storyboards and said, how do I make this more interesting? And almost inevitably, every time I ask myself, how do I make this more interesting? The result is, oh, this is going to get more difficult. Got it. I just made it more difficult for no reason. So there wasn't really a way for me to prepare for this because I've done a lot of inventing along the way. And I don't think that's bad. This project has been like such a learning process. It has been such a crucible of I don't know, just of understanding, like placing the camera somewhere and telling stories through body language and pushing my facial expression work more than I've ever done. I think anyway, for me. Yeah, it's just stuff that I've learned so much. I've changed so much. I'm not done yet, but I'm about 11 scenes away from finishing up the original 24 pages of storyboard. So, I mean, the project's not going to be done at that point, but it will be like mostly done by then. Grayson Fitzwater over on YouTube says, hello there. Nicole on Facebook says, yes, Netflix streaming Pinky and the Brain, awesome, etc., etc. Sorry, I jumped in off topic kind of. No, that's fine. I don't mind if people talk about something that maybe I switched gears. Just let me know what you're referring to so I know how to work it in. Alexander Maraquin over on YouTube just says $10. Does that, are you saying $10 or did you just send me $10? I don't. Either way, thanks. Well, look, if you guys like the stuff I'm talking about here, I do not claim to have all the answers. Okay, if you're new to my channel, I'm an animation enthusiast, lifelong. I have a podcast that's not currently being made, but I've got a few seasons out there where I talk with professionals in the industry. I've been a cartoonist since I was a kid. I've done animation a little bit throughout my life. I haven't done it a lot, but I mean, I started animation when I was like 8, and then did it a little bit in college, and then a little bit more recently. But I'm not somebody that has like veteran status at Disney. I don't have like 20 years of animation, career animation under my belt. I don't have that. So I feel like I'm pretty self-taught. So if you find what I'm saying interesting and you're open to the fact that I don't have all the answers, but I obsessively watched cartoons my whole life, and I analyze the heck out of them. So I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of how things work. And now I'm making my own, and my understanding has grown even more. If you like all this stuff, I would love for you to subscribe to me here on YouTube. And then if you want more beyond that, just go to retailsunshine.com and you can follow me there for free, where I post like progress photos and kind of use that as a little bit of a journal and tell people how I'm coming along with things. I'm suspicious, Alexander Marquin, that you just sent me $99.99. That's very kind of you, but something about this seems very suspicious, and so thank you, but also I'm raising an eyebrow at you, sir. Bayou Bomber says, I think it's important to talk about the behind the scenes stuff with animation. It gives a clearer picture of what the work is really like. Well, I'm glad you appreciate it. I always get nervous when I talk about that stuff in here, because I think like people coming in here, they just want me to be a trained monkey. They just want me to like, all right, just draw for me and, impress me with stuff. And, I'm not going to try to play the world's tiniest violin here for you, but I will say it has never really come easily to me, like the whole art thing. I have to really work for it. I have to take a lot of time. There are some days where it seems to like flow pretty effortlessly, and I'm like, wow, where's that coming from? But a lot of times I have to really focus and concentrate, and I have to plan and all that stuff. So that's where a lot of my aggravation comes from, is like, why is it not instantly working for me now that I've done it for years? Anyway, so what am I working on right now? Okay, so I think I mentioned earlier, I'm working on the part of scene 55 that involves the customer. And I'm actually going to turn things around. Bayou Bomber just said, part of passing the torch of animation to others is sharing the experiences we have, good, bad, and otherwise. Yeah, I think so. And I do, look, I've always enjoyed teaching. I've taught drawing before. I'm not teaching currently, but I do sort of feel like hanging out with you guys here. I do feel like this is sort of the evolution of the teaching work that I've done. So, Alexander Marquin, you are very kind, saying my mind is brilliant. I don't know if you're being serious right now, but I appreciate the compliment. So thank you. All right, I'm going to try to turn things around a little bit so you guys can kind of see what I'm working on. Let me see if I can get I'm going to get this situation a little bit better one day, where it works even better than it does now. If you're watching me on the regular live stream, then you can currently see everything in front of me. If you're watching me vertical, you probably can't really see that, and I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try to adjust things a little bit more, because I'm sure you'd rather see my drawing board than my beard. Let me see. Sam OK on YouTube just said RE, and I don't know what you mean by that. Oh, regular live stream looks good. Good. Okay. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Yeah, the vertical one, it looks a little bit different. And I've got both of them. I have both live stream views on my screen right now, so I can see both of them, and that's how I'm trying to like use it to manipulate things. So I can see what you guys see is what I'm trying to get at. All right, so let's see here. So I've got a pretty good stack of drawings that I've you hit send too soon. That's okay. I've got a pretty like significant stack of drawings from the last couple of weeks. This is like the all of this is the new scene. You can see it's a pretty good stack. I've got like, I don't know, it's maybe close to 40 drawings. I'm maybe 1/3 of the way through this scene. Okay. Now I imagine it's going to get a little bit easier for me to wrap the scene up once I cross over like the 2/3 mark, because then it'll just be about like filling in the gaps a little bit. But right now, what I'm working on, I've got, let's see, I don't have all of them numbered properly. You have to excuse me. But this, I've got the customer. You can kind of see him like lifting his arm a little bit. If I flip it pretty quickly, you can sort of see him. If I point my finger, like look, like right here, right? So he's kind of doing that. This is the very end of a gesture. He just got done stepping forward and then like lifting his arm up as he's saying a line. So that's where I'm at right now. Now I wanted to, let me just double check my notes to see what I wanted to work on tonight. Let me go ahead and take a look over here. Pardon me for, let's see. Is that what I wanted to do? Let's see. Oh, that doesn't match up, does it? Oh, I need to fix that. Okay, I gotta remember to fix that digitally when I'm done. I have two drawings that are not lining up the way they're supposed to. Let's see. Well, heck. I thought I had prepared properly for tonight, and now I am looking at this going, I don't know that I know what part I'm working on next. A little bit of embarrassed to say that. I've got, wait a second here. Okay, so that's the previous. Okay, so got it. Okay, no, I did actually put this to the side so that I would have it ready for tonight. Now I know what I was going to do. All right. Apologies. So I don't really need this one here. All right, so I'm going to be rotating these around. Wearing a hoodie that attracts every possible cat hair on the planet. It's really great that it does that. All right, so this is going to be right. Okay. I got you now. All right, I know where I am now. Took me a second to get there, but it happens. Oops. I'll smack my monitor around. That'd be great. Let's see. Maybe I should move my water away from being so close to circuitry. Okay. All right, I'm good. I had to get everything resituated. Thank you guys for your patience. I'm always amazed that you guys hang out with me while I'm doing all this stuff. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me. All right, so we've got a little bit of this going. Oh, I'm gonna get so many flags for this video tonight. I don't even care. It happens. Yes, we're really close to me. Camera's like right there in my face. Okay, so I'm gonna leave his mouth. I'm gonna leave his mouth out of it for right now. You can kind of see him moving there. It goes like that frame, that frame, that way, that frame. Do I want to do another one? Let's see. Let's see. I need to look at my notes here. I could do like a breakdown shot. Let's see. I might do another in between. Let's see. Let's see. I want to do between that one and that. So let's move these out of the way. So I can find where that is. Is it this one? Oh, it is that one. All right. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up on Facebook from Keith Murrell and Scott McMahon. How's it going, Scoot? Nice to have you here. Nice to have you popping in. I can't see the thumbs up on YouTube, but I do appreciate those as well to whoever sends those my way. I want to switch that song. I don't like that one. There we go. All right, I think I'm good there. Got a little bit of sketching done tonight. Figuring it out slowly. Oh, man. I'm hoping that a week from now I have some really, really great news regarding this scene. it is coming along slowly, but man, it's been a bit of a slog. Um, and my goal for the rest of the year is just to finish this one scene. If I can do more than that, that's great. But I have readjusted my goals uh, because this time of year is crazy. There's just like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of family stuff. There's a lot of work stuff. There's just a lot going on, and I've had to adjust my schedule a bit. So that's part of what goes on during the holidays. But I'll tell you the way I've been moving past the difficulty, honestly, has really been just to try to drill down and say, look, man, just get a little bit done. Just do a little bit. If you can do a little bit, then the next time you sit down, a little bit, and it actually is like, solid stuff, not just stuff that you have to redo later. If I can get a little bit done, then the next time I sit at my desk, I'm just building on that. And eventually there's enough progress there. There's enough drawings that exist eventually that there's something that I can go, oh, there's a framework here. Now I know what I have to do next because all the stuff that I've made is informing me. I can see what's missing a lot better versus a blank page, essentially, where you're like, here's a blank page, make anything. And that is the hardest thing. There are so many things you could do, and then because there's so many things you could do that you don't do anything because you get overwhelmed with like executive decision function. So that's definitely a lot of the stuff I deal with. I've said it before in other scenes that were difficult because there have been a number of other ones that were difficult, and I always say, man, if I could just get through this scene, I will feel so much more confident. And it's true. It just doesn't last all that long because then the next time I hit another difficulty, it's like, oh, now what am I going to do? Because in truth, there's just a bunch of different, I'm trying to not do the same thing over and over again. One of my big beefs with a lot of TV animation is so much of it is a mouth flap. So much of it is the character is not moving at all, and they're just talking by moving their mouth. And look, some of my favorite stuff happens to have that in it, but so I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's not particularly interesting to me. I feel like you have the opportunity to have characters emote and to be expressive. Why would you just waste a bunch of energy on mouth flaps just to kind of get past all of the dialogue stuff? I know why they do it. It's to save time. I'm not like dumb about it. I'm just saying I don't think it's great. It's not a great choice. And of course, if you had more money and time and resources, whatever, then all these productions would be more robust. And so they're trying to cut corners. Well, I don't have a particular schedule that I have to keep. I don't have anybody waiting, not necessarily. I don't have like a corporation waiting for me to finish this so they can, please the investors. So because I don't have that problem, I don't have to rush. And so now the danger in that is then you're not moving fast enough. I don't think that's a problem that I have very much of. I feel like I keep a pretty good fire under me. But I do allow for breaks. I do allow myself, I have to step away for a while. And sometimes stepping away is the best thing you can do for a project of this size. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, because the next time I sit down after a bit of a break, I'm like, oh, where was I? Okay. And I sort of, can sort of center back in. So it is really important to recognize your own like need for a break and to listen to that. And if your body's telling you you're tired, then, maybe take 5, walk away from it for a little bit. I've often felt that after I complete a scene, and to me it's completed, I usually try to kind of sleep on it and look at it again the next day, because just to be sure. Because often, even stepping away for the night to sleep, even that will give me enough of a break. So anyway, all right, I'm not going to go off on a giant tangent again. I mean, I did a little bit, but I'm going to try to refrain from doing it too much. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And just try to be kind to yourself and to others. This is a very stressful time of year. And I think it can get really easy to forget that everybody is stressed and everybody just wants a little bit of kindness. So, you know, if you can, keep that in mind. And I really, speaking of kindness, I really appreciate you guys being here. Those of you who are my regulars, especially, you guys come here week after week and you hang out with me, sometimes in silence while I have my back turned to you. And it means a lot to me that you guys hang out with me even when I'm doing that. So thank you very much. And I'll see you next Friday. All right. Take care.